Okay, we're going to look at a command economy now. And if you think of this almost exactly the opposite of what a market economy is, so everything that is instinctive to us, this idea of freedom and things like that, um, private ownership, owning property, businesses making money, all of this is counterintuitive. This is the opposite of what a command economy would be all about. And so the chief characteristic of a command economy is the level of government control. Um, in a command economy, the government owns the factors of production, and they're the ones that answer the individual questions. The government gets to decide what's going to be produced, how things are going to be produced, and they're going to decide, usually through equity or this idea of everyone sharing equally in terms of who is going to get it. So a central bureaucracy or a central government agency is going to decide all of these questions. The government, and again, owns the factors of production, land and capital. You would think you would own your own labor, but a lot of times they control where people work and how much your pay is going to be. So once again, we're going to think of this as the opposite of a market economy. In a market economy, all of these things are favored. In command economies, they oppose private property and free market competition, consumer choice are all frowned upon in a command economy. This is Karl Marx, and he is considered the father of socialism. And socialism is just that belief that wealth should be evenly distributed throughout society. Um, Economic equity can only exist if the centers of economic power are controlled by the government, not, sorry about that, not individuals. So that the government should own the factors of production. They should own all of the industry and all of the big businesses. Now, communism and socialism, a lot of times people use these terms interchangeably, but communism typically is more authoritarian. You can have countries that have democratic elections and their people are very, very free, but they have some ideas of socialism. Sweden would be one. Canada actually has some socialist industries when you look at France and places like that. The only difference is that the government provides a lot of the basic services and needs for the people. They tax their people at a very high rate and then provide goods and services for them. Communism, on the other hand, is where the government controls everything, and they do this through military. And so the 1800s, you had socialism kind of turn into communism, where the central government owns and controls all of the resources and the means to production and makes all of the economic decisions. So Karl Marx believed that labor was the source of all value. He said under capitalism, which is our system, that the profit created by the laborers went to the capitalists. So the factory owners and not the workers were making all the money. He felt that capitalism resulted in an unfair distribution of wealth. You had a lot of people at the bottom who were working for a very, very small number of very, very wealthy people. And he thought that in order for socialism to take root, it would require some sort of violent revolution by the laborers. Eventually, the laborers would rise up, they would take control of the businesses, and they would do this in a violent manner. So, once again, just to reiterate, socialist countries can be democratic, so they're not necessarily communist or dictatorships, but all communist governments are authoritarian and are either led by a strict dictator or a very, very strong group of people.